Come on, another error. What is going on? So one of the main reasons how I even purchased a Cameo was for the print and cut method. I'm gonna show you exactly how to set it up in Silhouette Studio and get these type of images on your next print. This is a shirt that I recently did with the print and cut feature. This shirt right here was done. See the flag and all that? That's print and cut. And what I did was I added a white border around the image, and you can't even tell. This thing pops. It looks like it's actually DTG on there, and I'm gonna show you how to do it. We're over here in Silhouette Studio. This is the image right here that I've already have set up and ready to print, but I'm gonna go back and show you how I got here from the very beginning. I'm gonna open a new page here, okay? See, my new page is set up, and before I start with anything, I'm gonna make sure I set my page. The paper that I'm using to print and cut is the 3G opaque, and you know I have videos on that 3G opaque, which in my opinion is the best, hands down, inkjet paper for t-shirt. If you haven't seen the videos yet, go check it out. I'll link it in the description below. But that page is 8.5 by 11. So over here on my page setup, to get to page setup, see the little paper right here. I'm gonna make sure there's a drop down here, and in that drop down you have 8.5 by 11. That gives you this paper right here. So now with that paper set up with Silhouette, and if you bring an image in, I've learned that if that image is a JPEG, of course, JPEGs don't have cut lines, so you have to create your own cut lines. So when doing print and cut, I see people set up their pages differently. There are some people that just go right to the file method here, and they go to the wizard, new wizard, and then the print and cut. That method works as well, but then I've been doing it another way by setting up the print and cut as far as the registration mark later on, and it gets the same effect. So as you can see, our image is printed. Okay, you can see the border right now that we add, our offset. You cannot see the offset right now because the offset is actually white. We could have changed the color to whatever color we want, but because I wanted it to be white, you can see nothing. So the white is not there, but it's actually an offset. And the registration marks is the important part of this print and cut process here. See, there's 3 registration marks. Sorry for the camera jumping out of focus, but yeah, that's the image there. So we are going to jump back into Silhouette and get this thing set up for cutting. This is our image. This is right where we left off. Our image is already printed. As you're seeing it, image is already printed right here. So we need to tell Silhouette what needs to cut. What do we need to happen? Silhouette needs to be told, okay? So with our image selected, we're going to go to the Send tab over here. You can see the Send tab, just like you would use to send anything else to the Silhouette. If you can see right now, you see the red marks? That's the cut line. That's the cut line that Silhouette is going to use to cut around this thing. So you want to make sure it's actually in the right space. Another thing we can do, let's back up real quick. And you can actually adjust your, if you go to page setup, you can adjust your registration marks. As you can see, my registration mark is kind of buttoned right on, almost touching my flag over here. So you can adjust this here, bring it back, just bring the registration mark. Yeah, so if you see this inset, if you move the inset button all the way back, take it all the way back, that can help you adjust your registration border. Okay, so that's that. That way now it's not buttoned right onto your image. So let's go back to our send method here because we're ready now to send this thing to the cutter. But there's a few things we need to tell Silhouette here. our actual image, the flag itself, you want to tell Silhouette to not cut that. So if you select the image there, whatever that image is, you want to go to the Tools tab here and tell it no cut. So now Silhouette knows it is not going to cut that. But then the other one here, the actual things that you want to cut, you'll select that as well and then hit cut. Now Silhouette knows that's where I need to be cutting. I'm not going to cut around this flag because I was told not to cut it, but the border is exactly where you want to cut. So again, no cut and cut. So if you hit the lines here, it tells you anything that's checked is where it's going to cut. All right, so this is a good view to look at. If you're looking at the line view, Silhouette knows it's only going to cut the red part. I've used the setting over here that says vinyl glossy. With that vinyl glossy method, it's going to cut at 1. The speed is going to be 1. The force is going to be 5. No, the blade is going to be 1. The speed is 5. The force is 5. And it passes 1. You have to test it and see what works for you. There's a test button here that you should be using. So what I'm going to do, again, we're using the matte. I'm going to bring my matte all the way over here to this blue. And make sure we're lined up here. And I'm going to hit the load button. And it's going to load up in there. So right now it's loaded up. It's secured. We're going to go over to the software and just hit send. Because you can see the machine right here says ready. You probably can see it. Yep. Right here it says that it's ready. And it's ready to send. So I've sent it, and right now what you see happening here, the Silhouette is actually reading our registration mark. It's not cutting yet. It's reading the registration mark, trying to figure out exactly where it is. It's going to do the last one here. All right. And I got an error. I got an error here. It says registration mark censored error. So let's unload this thing and do it again. So what I did, I just loaded it back up and hit registered, and we're still getting an error. I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, for this part right now, I'm not sure why we're getting errors, but let's figure out why we had the error, and then, yeah, we can represent this thing right now. I'm not sure yet, but I think the issue with the registration mark was the fact that I printed it a certain way, and then I went in and showed you guys how you can adjust the registration border, and then I left it that way. So I haven't sent it yet, but I think that's why the registration mark was not being read, because the readjustment of the settings might have thrown it off a little bit. But I just backed up a few steps and went back to the original setting that it printed on, and we can test this out and see if it goes through. So we still have issues. We still have an error. We still have an error. We have issues. We still have issues. Of course, these issues will happen when I'm trying to show out the video, but this stuff happens. I'm totally a beginner at this thing here, and I already printed a few shirts with it working fine, but just to show you guys that the issues are gonna happen, and we have issues. So we might have to print a whole new page here to get this issue resolved. So that's what I'm going to have to do to make sure it's not anything that I did at first on the software part of things. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to print out another sheet. This sheet might be waste, but it's all part of the process. Don't be afraid to have waste, because you're learning. Things are going to get messy. Always remember, it's not going to be perfect. So before I go ahead and print another one, I did one more thing in the software. I just took the registration mark back to default, so there is no issue in my setting, because I'm not sure exactly where I landed at. I took it to default and see what's going to happen now. If this don't work, then I'm going to have to probably print out another one. Y'all see this thing? It's stuck. What's going on? It's freaking out on me. We're gonna have to shut it down. Going in, we gotta shut it down. It's stuck. Whoa. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. That thing just got stuck. Y'all seeing it? The head was just stuck on one side. I'm like all the way on the ground trying to get onto the camera here. There we go. The head was just like, it just stuck over here. I don't know. And the mat is like back here somewhere. The mat went all the way through, and then it never did a thing. I don't know what's going on, but let's turn it back on. Okay, it came back on. Let's try again. Is it working? Is it working? No, it's not working. We still got an error. Damn, what's happening? Wow. I don't know what's happening, but we're gonna have to take the step and waste this paper and print another one. Our troubleshooting methods have not worked. And yeah, let's print another sheet. I don't know what's happening. Alright, so we have our new print here. Let's try this thing again. Wish me luck. At this point, I don't know what else could be done. But let's just hope everything's good. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Work for us. Work for us. Is it working? Come on, another error. What is going on? So, I guess there was an issue with me playing with the image why I had already printed it. So what I had to do, I had to go back and recreate the whole thing and send it through. And right now, it's actually printing. Like, it's printing and it's finished. It went through all of the steps that was wrong. I guess it fixed it by recreating in the process. So when you're in the process of learning, you can't be afraid to just try things. And sometimes it gets messed up and you have to go back. Even if it means that you have to waste some material, try not to waste so much materials and just keep trying. Just backtrack a few steps. The issue might just be from the beginning, and that was my issue from the very beginning. So our job is complete. At this time, this thing is cut, and we're gonna move to the process of just weeding it. Let's do it. So once you get it peeled a little bit, you're able to just peel off all the assets that you don't need. Just like that. Nicely done. So right now, image is done. Nicely done here. We're gonna get over to the press and press this thing. I finally got it.